Just a couple hours ago, the final episode of Season 1 of 24 Legacy dropped. If you've been tracking with my reviews up to this point, you know I've been kind of underwhelmed by this season. The show 24 is one of my favorite shows of all time. Just the format of it, the live action, Kiefer Sutherland's performance, the character David Palmer, just a bunch of wonderful array of characters in a very clever take on a action spy thriller genre, all make for a show that I absolutely loved. And so I was very excited when this season was coming back. It debuted, and just kind of all throughout, it just underwhelmed me. And the big problem was the characters just didn't draw me in, and so the situations they were in seemed a little bit familiar, things we've seen before. And going into the finale, it felt like they were rushing to a finale, and there was so much to cover in this last episode. So here it is. What did I think about it? I thought it was good enough. It didn't win me over. It wasn't like I wasn't wowed by it. Looking at the season as a whole, this was probably one of the best episodes, one of the most enjoyable episodes for the season, but it felt like a mid-season finale. It felt like a middle of it, we're going to now twist and turn and go in a different direction, but like the stakes of it, the finality of it didn't feel quite right. It just felt so small scale. So it starts off with a pretty cool action sequence where Tony Almeida gets in a fight with Carter. That's pretty cool, seeing them show off and actually having a payoff to bringing Tony Almeida back to it. And then that sets up the final kind of situation of the season, the final tension there of trying to rescue this character and keep this return the daughter. And kind of just all the way it played out just felt very mundane, it wasn't very enthralling what it was, because it was like, okay, Mr. Terrorist guy takes his own people out and then goes to meet up, and it's just a prisoner exchange. Someone goes, I don't like this, bullets get fired, people die, and it just kind of felt like, okay, that happened. I mean, it didn't feel like this showdown of finally we're taking out the bad guys, of kind of what you want to see, this big, emotional, impactful, suspenseful finale. The main action was kind of the fight with Tony, but it's not like we were rooting for Tony to lose and get in a fight. It was just kind of like, oh, he's the obstacle, so that felt kind of like, that's cool for just a random episode, but it's not satisfying for the last episode. The last episode, you want our main character's wits, his abilities, his smarts to overcome the main bad guy. Have this big payoff. You know, season 1 of 24, Jack Bauer thinks that his family's been killed, and so therefore he goes in, guns a-blazing, just blows everyone away. Season 2 of 24, the big showdown is that he goes into a coliseum. It has to take out a gigantic coliseum filled with bad guys, and there's a great hand-to-hand fight, all sorts of stuff. I'm very exciting. Season 5 climax, it's not the big showdown. They do smaller stakes. Smaller stakes is Jack kidnaps the president and tortures him online, or tortures him live to a bunch of people. Like, that's when I think great 24 finales, that's what I'm thinking. Prisoner exchange where someone at the end's like, aha, and some bullets are fired. It feels so small scale. It feels like it wouldn't have been a bad episode if it had been episode 8. If this wasn't the end of the season, it would have been perfectly fine, but it was the end of the season, and so it felt odd. And then we kind of move into where it actually ends. And 24 is, of course, famous for having some incredible finales and ending points. So season 1 ends, and big reveal. Don't want to spoil for you, the off chance you haven't seen it, but a character ends up dying, and things happen, and things are revealed about other people, and it's like this huge plot twist. You're like, whoa, what happens in this one? They're like, oh, let's have someone die as well, maybe have a little bit of twist and turn, but it felt like someone's got to die, so someone catches a bullet. That's what this finale felt like to me. It's like, we just have to have someone die, so that's what has to happen, and it does. But it didn't have the stakes, the twist, and of the nature of it. Or you think of, you know, season 4's finale where Jack fakes his own death. Season 5's finale where Jack gets kidnapped. Like, you think these big, gigantic twists and turns that have happened. And this one, it's just kind of like, okay, it ended. Okay, he might join. Okay, this looks like our feller's gonna still run for president. And even that happens, and I was like, what? What, like season 1, when people died before, it had big gigantic consequences for characters, and they go crazy, and they become homeless people, grow gigantic beards. This guy's like, oh, my wife died, and it's 10 minutes later, because the show's in real time. 10 minutes later, he's like, I'm I'm still going to run for president. His wife died 10 minutes ago. I mean, just the suspension of disbelief you have to have for someone's wife to die, and then 10 minutes later, they're like, I'm running for president. It doesn't work. It just, the way they did it, it makes no sense to just have that sort of transition. And so, man, like I said, if this had been episode 8, the character dies, this sort of plot, and then at the end of the season, Donovan's like, I'm still going to run for president. Well, several hours have passed, other things have happened, but it wasn't. It was 10 minutes. The swap of people, episode 8, perfectly fine. With the action, all of it would have been perfect. Episode 8. And then the finale and the twist, but that's not what they did. And so, I mean, I want to like it more than I can. I can't say that I'm super excited about it. And it looks like this might not be renewed. And so then the big finale for the season was Donovan is still going to run, and one of the characters dies, and Carter's like, looks like he's going to sign up to join CTU. Like, it's just not like satisfying as a conclusion to the season. And part of that's because the season didn't build up to me being like, yeah, Carter, I can't wait to see more with him. Donovan, I can't wait for him to be president. That character's awesome. Donovan sucks, and Carter hasn't won me over. Now, I think there's potential with Carter. Carter could be a good character. Carter could be someone I care about. Donovan just sucks. He's not David Palmer. He's not any of these stronger characters that have been like in the White House setting. He's none of them. It seems like almost every other season has had a great setting in that, and something with a gravitas, a charisma, all sorts of things that you care about, decisiveness, a strength. Donovan has none of that. And it's not like, I like Jimmy Smits and other stuff. Not this. It's not, the character does not work for me at all. What they've done with him, none of it works for me at all. So even if it's picked up again, I hope they abandon Donovan entirely and come up with a stronger character arc for Carter to not be the new Jack Bauer, because I don't want him to be Jack Bauer, but I want him to be a good, strong character that I like in his own right, and it hasn't been that yet for me. So, unfortunately, one of the stronger episodes of the season, but not a great season finale. I don't think really at all. Not a good conclusion, and a lot of that just goes to they didn't build up a season that built to stakes that could make for a great finale. They didn't build up a season with character arcs that could have satisfying emotional conclusions for them. It's like, oh, Carter's not getting divorced. That's cool. What? Like, that's not an exciting finale to be like, he's not getting divorced. Okay. Oh, he's going to take that job that, of course, he had to take for them to do more seasons. If we want Donovan to come back, he has to run for president. So, like, these aren't, like, shocking big twists, so I wish I could like it, but I don't. Coming up in the near future, I'm going to put up an actual ranking of all the seasons of 24. And so hopefully you can check out that episode or that video when I put it out pretty soon. My internet's actually down at my house. That's why I'm shooting in a strange, different location. And so I might have some delays on some of this. I wanted to have some of it up sooner, but technology sometimes causes problems. Anyway, what did you think about the episode? I wanted to like it. I can't lie to you guys, and I can't lie to you and say I like this season when I didn't really like it all that much. It's not the worst, but it's certainly not one of the better ones. What all that said, tell me in the comment section down below. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. Mostly do movie reviews, but like this, I decided to review almost all the episodes of 24 Legacy because it's one of my favorite shows. Unfortunately, this season is not one of my favorite seasons, but I do a lot of stuff like that. I do trailer reactions. I do this thing called Masters of Movie Trivia, where we do a movie trivia show where me and some other YouTubers compete. With all that said, thank you for watching.